Today on Chesapeake Shores, we talk about Georgia, not the state. But stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello. There we go. Hello, Chesapeake Shore fans. Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV. Yes, so good.
Jesse Metcalf.
We're here doing the Chesapeake Shores After Show, Season 1, Episode 6, Georgia on My Mind. Starting with a great song that's in the episode that ended. Really great song. We'll get to that too. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. You can follow me on Twitter at SeraphiniTV. You can follow my co-host.
Hi guys, I'm Maddison Hill. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Maddison Hill 93 with 2 Ds.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
Yes, Georgia on my mind. We have a lot of things to say about Georgia.
A lot.
Of course. But really quickly, what were your overall thoughts? Madison.
Overall, I really liked this episode. I'm glad we finally got Kevin back, but with Kevin, we got Georgia, who you guys will know, we are not fans.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of this episode. I feel like the whole time I was on the edge of my seat just waiting to see what was going to happen next. And, oh gosh, yeah, Georgia. I can't. So much to say.
So much to say. Georgia is definitely on our minds. We have a lot on our minds about Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I like this episode because it asked a lot more questions than we got more answers. So we still have to keep watching the show because I'm like, okay, what's happened with Jess now? You know, so many more
They
new
keep
questions.
sprinkling more seeds for us.
And I think that's the great thing about the show because it's pretty much an ensemble kind of show. So everyone has a backstory that we still don't know yet, really, in full. So we'll learn more about Jess in the future. But let's talk about Kevin. Kevin, the good brother, unfortunately, he's not in the best state right now, coming back, recovering.
But at least he's alive.
He's alive.
He's alive for now.
My prediction was right. He's alive.
Yes, you were right.
You were right. You were
Happy
right.
about that. But someone else tags along with him. Georgia, fiance? What?
She doesn't even tag along with him. She shows up on her own and she's like, "Hi, I'm Georgia, Kevin's fiance. I'm going to take over your household right now. I don't know manners." That's what it was like.
Completely steamrolled.
The worst. The worst.
Way too much. Going in way too hot. Coming in way too hot. I did
this
not
is your
like
fiance's family. Like, shouldn't you be, I don't know, polite and like be just a little nicer about it? Not act like this is your house and they're coming and interrupting your, like, stop, Georgia, stop. Go back to Georgia.
Well, okay, so, I mean, I understand Georgia. We learn a little bit about her and how Kevin and her met his first deployment. So it's been a while. And Kevin just admitted that information from his family. And they even realized, it's like, hey, we never really asked Kevin, like, how he's doing. He's the one always caring about others, but we never personally cared about him. So,
because I feel like if you were excited to talk about something with your family, you wouldn't need them to ask. You would just be like, by the way, I met someone really great.
He does seem to genuinely, truly rely and care about her a lot, though. I will say, even though she was coming, I'm just saying, even though she came in really hard, you know, he is very reliant on her throughout the entire episode.
Well, yeah, because he's on a hospital bed.
I know, but I'm just saying,
he has to rely on her.
I'm trying to give a little more perspective.
No, I think she's already a control freak, and the fact that she like has control over his life right now is terrifying to me. I don't like it.
She's making a lot of medical decisions. Everyone's just going along with it. No one's giving her any pushback.
I know. Well, I get it. I get why, because it's their son, and they're like, well, we want Kevin to be okay. But like this woman who's like, well, he can't go to a hospital because there's more chances of him getting infected. What do you mean infection? It's a hospital. Do you think anyone else would be in the hospital if that were the case? If that were logical, would we even have a hospital?
Megan kind of pushes back a little bit against her, I would say.
Yes, what were your thoughts with Georgia and Megan's interaction? A lot of weird tension, but do you think it was warranted that Georgia, the first meeting Megan, saying, "Don't cry"?
No, and then her other interaction did not make me feel any better because she goes on to talk about old family issues as if she was a part of it at all. Georgia, this new woman who knows nothing about their family, goes to his mother and is like, well, this is what you did wrong. This is what you... No, Georgia. Back off. You need to get on this good side of this woman because she is the mother of your fiance and you need some respect.
But Megan was straight up with her. She was like, you don't like me very much. And she was like, no. I was like, yes. Love it. Love the honesty. But then they kind of came together at the end, so I don't know. Mm-hmm. Megan kind of gave her the, like, okay.
Like, there's a, okay, at the end of that somewhat awkward conversation, we can see that there's a point of understanding between each other.
Yes, maybe that's
How about I'll just be devil's advocate. I'm not really one for Georgia either, but I kind of understand where she's coming from. She's from the military. She lived an army life, or I believe he's in the Army, is it?
Yes. His shirt's up.
But she has a regimented life. She's type A personality. She knows how to do things her way. And that's really the only way that she can go about it. So the way that she went in, have some bedside manners, which I found completely ironic. I mean, she was at the bedside of Kevin, but had no bedside manners. But she has this lifestyle of how to control people or like control situations. Right. But the way she went about it wasn't the greatest. And I think that's what rubbed people off the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. But it was like she never made up for it. And that point that I thought she would make up for it when she did say, like, oh, I think we got off on the wrong foot, I thought that was going to make me like her. I thought, okay, they're going to have a conversation right now. It's going to go well. And then the fact that then she went on to talk about 9/11 as if that was any of her, that made me so mad because it's just really not your place. Like, families have issues. Families have unresolved issues. But it is not like a now significant or future significant other's place to come in and be like, well, you're like not a good mom. You weren't there for him. Like, stop. Mm-hmm. That, like, I don't care. I get that she's type A. I get she's controlling, and I get that it is kind of just like a type of personality, especially coming from the military. However, there were things she did that I don't find excusable simply because it's her personality. Like, it just comes down to manners and how to talk to people.
Yes,
I agree.
There's a certain tact, especially going into someone's house and steamrolling the family. So, like, as a person, I don't like her in that sense, but I understand where she's coming from. I didn't like how she brought up 9/11 because, first of all, Kevin was a teenager, and Georgia was a mere thought to that family back then. And I'm just like, you're assuming that you know Kevin more during a time where you even part of this family, and you're talking to his own mother than you?
Well, and she already knows that there's tension between the kids and the mom, clearly. And so I feel like she was just kind of like driving that home a little more. Like, oh, well, remember how you weren't here, and I don't know. I just think that she was really playing up on, she knows that there's already tension, and she just wanted to stick it to her kind of another way, I think.
Yeah, it's just it's none of her business. And also the fact that it was actually the dad saying, oh, your mom she needs protection. Like, he is the one. If you're going to be mad at anyone for making Kevin feel responsible for his mom's safety, it would be the dad. It's not the mom calling up Kevin, begging him to come see her. It's the dad 15. That had that conversation.
I don't know what... Yeah. There's no way she could expect anything from him at that point.
Exactly. And she wasn't even asking it. Like, the whole situation she brought up to the mom was something she wasn't even aware of at the time. Right. And that just, like, made me so crazy. Yeah.
Ugh, I think it's more so that Georgia was coming from when Kevin was younger during a life crisis situation and whatnot. Megan wasn't there. But now that Kevin is also going through a life situation, that Georgia was there and Megan still wasn't. So Georgia, like, more so is like, I was there and you weren't.
Right.
Again. So I kind of know Kevin better in this moment.
No one was there, actually. Like, what are you talking about? And everyone's here right now. I don't know. I cannot with this woman. And it really baffles me that Kevin, handsome, great Kevin, was like, this one, I want to be with you.
Oh, I know. He even
forever.
said something about that. He was like, oh, they never thought I'd pick anyone because I'm so picky. And I'm like,
really?
You're picking him? This is who you ended up
He was like,
picking?
I did right. I was like, no,
wrong, incorrect answer.
I was like, more girl, bye.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think Georgia will last. Honestly, I really
Fingers
don't.
crossed.
So I think the real question is, because we know that Georgia kind of irks us. I mean, we'll have to see more episodes to really make a full
Maybe she'll change us.
conclusive decision on her.
I don't trust her.
But who's worse, Georgia or Lee?
That's what I was wondering. That's like the big debate I have going on in my head.
Who
Who's
do we
worse?
dislike the most?
I think George.
I have to. I think probably Georgia.
I feel like Georgia, because here's the thing.
But
Lee,
they're completely different people.
and they're in completely different ways.
situations.
They annoy me in completely different ways. Like, Lee just needs to, like, give up and go home and get a life. But Georgia needs to, Kate, she's up here. She
She's
needs
not
to bring
going
it down
anywhere
to here.
anytime soon. Whereas Lee could easily kind of get pushed out. Like Georgia, I feel like is going to be sticking around a lot longer.
Yeah, unfortunately. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully not forever. Hopefully that wedding does not happen.
Yes.
Sabotage.
Well, Kevin had a lot of moments with a lot of the girls of the family, but he also had a moment with Nell, Grandma Nell, saying he was dreaming about Grandpa, and we learn about this Dylan O'Malley. And
Yes.
that Nell should find, or like he should find Dylan O'Malley. Who is this Dylan O'Malley?
A
lover.
gentleman caller from Graham's past.
Graham's past, yeah.
For sure. Old lover that she misses. She says, she said that she met that little brief introduction we got of Dylan, that she met Dylan right before or when she met
Yeah.
the grandpa.
Nell said that Dylan O'Malley was a guy he knew when she met
Okay.
the grandpa. So she knew Dylan before, even longer than the grandfather.
Okay. So then something had to have happened
But
because
he's always still been on her mind.
yeah, so did he
Wedding ring?
disappear? What happened? Yeah, what I mean, it was I'm sure a serious relationship of some sort that had to have ended abruptly, I feel like, for her to still be thinking about this guy.
Do we think we'll see Dylan by the end of the season?
Yes.
Nell wants to
hope
go on a
so.
trip.
By the end of the season, I don't know.
Nell wants to
Maybe.
go on a trip to see it. And we also see she's like holding the wedding ring. This
Yeah, I was going to say
mysterious
she has
wedding
another
ring.
moment with that.
And she's like, "Where are you?" So it implies that he's still alive.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I think
she
he's
doesn't
still
know
I think he's
alive.
alive.
Yeah.
I think maybe like the last few minutes of the last episode of this season, she'll like come forward and be like, "This is Dylan," and then it'll be cut.
Oh,
So gotta wait for season 2.
cut to black. I hope not.
I know, but like I don't know how they're
I
gonna.
would kind of like her to have somebody. I mean, I know the whole family's there and she's not by herself, but like that'd be kind of cute. Right?
It would be,
How would that
as long as she's
change
not
the
Georgia.
dynamic of everyone knowing the grandfather, even though the grandfather's been gone? The audience don't really know the grandfather.
Right.
But if we brought in Dylan O'Malley, what would that do?
I think no one will care like that someone's trying to replace grandpa. I don't think that will be an issue, but I do think that it's going to throw grandma off her game. I think like they're like, "Oh my god, where's my laundry? Where are my cookies?" She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've been distracted." Like I think it's going to be that kind of thing where she's just in love and like celebrating it, and then everyone's going to realize like how much Gran does for them and be like, "Oh, maybe I should grow up and do my own laundry now."
I don't know. I hope we see him by the end.
I hope so too. It might be in season 2. Mm-hmm. They're building
Or just
it
get
up.
more answers about the ring situation.
Yeah, I just wanna know
I just
about
want to know
him.
more about that.
Some closure, because
Yes.
this ring has been going on for now 3 episodes. So we got to get something about.
We
now
need to know.
Dylan.
We would have
Apparently.
if Mick didn't answer the phone.
Right? Don't you love that when television shows purposely interrupt something? Like some plot gets revealed.
Make
and
you
then
keep watching.
during the X-Pause. Oh, it's terrible. But actually, because I was live tweeting with the fans last night of this show, apparently Dylan O'Malley is a character in the book.
Ooh.
So for those who have read the book, they know who Dylan O'Malley is. For those who haven't, such as our panel, we don't. But we know that the show takes a lot of creative license and things change between characters and whatnot. So I'm interested to see who this Dylan is.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Stay
like when
tuned.
he actually does get introduced, how different he is from the books.
Oh, I know.
That'll be
We'll see.
interesting.
And we'll get some answers.
We may not know because we haven't read the books, but it will be nice just to
It'll
meet
just be
him.
nice to see another Irish man come on the screen.
Well, why not? All right. And another moment with Kevin. He had this brief moment with Jess.
Yes.
Somewhat dark and cryptic.
Yeah.
What's happened? How did you get through it? That's what he said to Jess. Get through what? What happened? What do you
Right?
think happened?
Did she have a medical accident?
That's like what completely throws me off is because where
That's
Kevin
what- I
is
was
right
like,
now,
what?
for him to be asking Jess, who appears perfectly fine, be like, how did you get through it? Meanwhile, he's like on a hospital bed, like completely burned, dirty, his leg. And I'm like, what happened to Jess?
That's where my mind went. I was like, okay, so did she overcome some medical
physical trauma?
problem? That my mind went there immediately. But then
it
I
has
was
to
like,
be serious.
I was like, what though? Because she seems completely fine.
I know. It just throws
Physically,
me
she
off.
seems fine.
That's what I mean.
Mentally.
Mentally,
is a
she's
different
been
story.
struggling. Yeah.
But does he have something mentally to them? Because I don't think that like a mental issue would be equivalent to like a physical, like I wouldn't
what he's
compare
going
the
through
two.
right
I
now,
mean,
you're saying.
yeah, like I'm not like weighing which one's worse, but just a matter of like I wouldn't ask if I broke my leg. I wouldn't go up to someone with like a mental illness and be like, "How did you get through it?" Because those don't relate to me. So it has to be some sort of correlation. I don't know.
Sometimes things do relate though. If
Yeah.
it's like a big enough physical trauma that it messes with you physically,
He
or like
also
mental
seems-
trauma.
he
If it
also
messes
seems
with you
to be,
physically.
like mentally something going on. It's like,
I have a
remember,
prediction.
yeah, Graham was like, you seem very restless. So he like keeps going in and out. So maybe something is going on there. A little
what?
PTSD. I
that
don't
too.
know.
I had another question for you, ladies.
Oh, what?
Oh,
We saw, well, Georgia did preface, like, and you know, he's on a lot of medicine, Kevin. And on a lot of medicine, he's not, like, fully with it. But you see that, like, he's repeating questions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you think there's some brain
I
damage?
know. I
with
thought
him?
that for a second, but I really hope not.
He was repeating a lot of things. And
Yeah,
I know
Yeah.
you should get your rest.
I think they wouldn't have put that in if it wasn't significant in some way. So it does make me think there could be something wrong, or like maybe short-term memory loss. I don't know. That's definitely possible. It's tough. The way him and Jess even like spoke in that one moment, though, they just had this like connection. Like they immediately related to each other in that moment. She didn't even have questions to ask. So it makes me wonder if he even knows if there is a brain injury or there's something regarding that, or like more of a mental issue. If she already knows, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's throwing me
I don't
off
know.
because there wasn't a question about it. You know, like we only have seen what they've given us this episode with his injury.
Right.
So, but that moment was so like crystal clear that they had. There wasn't even in Jess's face. It wasn't even like, what are you talking about?
Okay. I have a prediction.
Ooh.
I'll save it for later, though.
Don't now, Marissa.
So I can
You're
remember
just
it
like
later.
the show, just sprinkling a little seed.
Well,
and
you
make
gotta keep
us-
listening
I
to our
know.
after show to the end, obviously. But yes, a lot of good moments between Kevin and the ladies of this family too. But more questions than answers, which I'm okay with. But let's move on to Abby. What happened with Abby? I mean, she goes to work. She gets faced by a Fed from the DOJ, Department of Justice, wondering if there's a Security Exchange Commission problem, SEC. I think Wes is behind this so-called quote-unquote investigation.
Oh,
You
wow.
think so?
I think Wes is behind this.
Man, I mean, I dislike Wes, so I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I feel like this kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, I was not expecting. I mean, we already have her going on with a custody battle. I was not expecting any more legal drama to come towards Abby. So that totally shocked me. She seems to be so by the book and so responsible when it comes to work that she would not miss a detail that she could get in trouble. So this totally surprised me.
Yeah, I don't actually think it's anything she did. I think when Connor was talking to her and he said, usually they'll talk to like a witness or someone that could have been a part of it for someone else's mistake. And I believe that, I think she's now like paranoid, like maybe I did something, but I think it's actually something like her colleague did that she didn't know about because it wouldn't be something she would look into further. She would just do her job. But I think she's so smart. Like I love that immediately she lawyers up,
Yep.
doesn't answer all the questions. Like she's so smart.
Well,
She's on it.
Calls Connor, who still has a purpose in the lawyer aspect and whatnot. We'll talk a little bit more about Connor, but I tied the two together. This is just me saying this is so coincidental that this is around the same time she's fighting for custody battle, and if there's anything wrong with her career life that could jeopardize her getting full custody of the girls, and realize that.
Well,
Like, Wes could put on this investigation.
didn't
Give it
Gabrielle
him.
and Abby work together?
Yeah,
So
he did. And like the
That's true.
assistant, we learned that the assistant was the one who was.
I literally
Also
just had
getting-
a light bulb when you were
also
saying
getting
Wes. I was like,
interrogated?
Gabrielle, they work together. She could totally be sabotaging Abby.
Yeah, I was like, I could see Wes being the one sabotaging Abby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the one that put the hint in to look over and have the DOJ get involved to see if there's any discrepancies within Abby's workflow.
Right.
Maybe get her fired and jeopardize her ability to have full custody of these girls.
That would be.
That makes no sense to me though, only because like if this guy's that
reaching.
stupid, but like Wes, if Wes's character is that stupid where he would jeopardize the income of this family for his daughters when you know that Abby's the one making the most money in this family. She's the one providing like a really nice lifestyle for these kids. Like that would be crazy for him to jeopardize that. However, I could see more so if it's anyone like behind it that it is more of a manipulative thing. I would see it being Gabrielle. And I would see Wes not knowing that it's Gabrielle, if anything. I don't know. I mean, I hope Wes is not that awful and stupid, but you know, I also don't really like him, so who knows?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Now listening to you, I can understand if it was Gabrielle more
Mm-hmm.
than Wes. I was like, it's not a coincidence that this is
Yeah,
happening.
she might not, like, Wes might not know. I can kind of
Yeah.
see that too. Like, she's like doing it to like help him.
Yeah,
you
she's like,
know?
we'll have a family. We'll be together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you full custody, baby. I love you. I'm gonna ruin Abby's life.
Okay. Hopefully this doesn't. This will all blow over pretty
Yeah.
quickly,
Yeah.
and Abby can get back to her regular life.
It
That
freaked
she
me out
tries to
when
go back
Abby's
to.
boss, she was like, do you know anyone who this ever happened to? And he was like, yeah, his cousin.
Cousin?
And he was like, he's doing 12 years in prison. Like, no big deal. What? I was like, okay, this is serious.
Yeah, they put it into perspective. It was like, hey, if something did go wrong, Abby could face some serious
0 to 100.
time.
Like that.
Like it spooks her. Spooks her enough. So hopefully, it'll all get resolved really quickly.
Yes.
Let's talk about Connor. Connor taking the bar. I mean, he was pretty, I mean, it's just important for his characters. All these episodes of him studying and being.
And we meet a love interest, possibly?
I know.
Yeah. Who's this? Danielle from study group. I think we've seen her in an earlier episode when he was in study group back in like the first
But
episode.
now it's escalated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Man. Can't believe she's been waiting to do that since study group. Maybe he's more charming in study group.
But do you like this Danielle? We don't really know much of her, but do you think she'll play a bigger part in Connor's life?
Yeah, she's cute. I mean, I just never thought she'd be interested in him, but like I'm glad she is.
He seems a little more relaxed after taking the bar. No, not still.
Relieved?
Still
I
a
don't
lot of
know. Who knows if he
energy.
even passed?
I feel like he's really smart. Like, he's one of those
Yeah.
people who's like a huge like jokester, like, oh, I don't really care, I don't need to study, but those people are always the smartest. They always are the ones who do better on those tests. I swear.
Or
Yeah, it's just unfair that like there are the people who are like super smart, but then the personalities are just like terrible, like his.
Like Connor.
And it's just so unfair that people work hard to like get to that level of intellect, and like it comes naturally for assholes like him. Sorry, but
No,
yeah,
but
like,
he's,
that happens all
he's
the time.
totally that type of person.
Yeah.
I just get that vibe.
I think it's possible though if he's like kind of confident that he passed, that would be leading up to us getting the surprise that he failed, and then the overall lesson being when you fall down, you got to get back up again. Then he has to take the bar again. I can see something like that happening also. I do think he's smart. I mean, he's in law school.
that poor girl who's taken it 3 times in front of him.
Whew.
Oh yeah,
Rough man.
and that poor guy who kept forgetting his
Yes.
charger.
But
I'm like,
get it together.
I mean, this is probably one of the most important things you're ever gonna do in your life. You want to be as prepared as you can be. Bring a freaking charger for your
For
computer.
real. For real. Amen.
And he had like 2 days to do this because Connor was even like, well, tomorrow just bring a charger, and apparently he didn't. So not prepared, not cut out to be a lawyer.
I was going to say, he shouldn't be a lawyer anyway.
I think Connor will make it though.
I think so too.
So give his character some validity and a reason to actually have purpose to help the family.
That
True.
family could use a lawyer.
Yeah.
I feel like just
Yeah.
they find themselves in pickles, so I feel like having some counsel would be good.
Yeah. And
I
eventually
agree.
he's gonna have to lawyer her up for Trace too. So
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for that to happen. Thanks for people in the live chat. Someone actually agreed with me that they think it's Wes behind.
Ooh.
So I'm not the only one. Yay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Bree. Aw, I'm glad that she's back in this
I'm so
episode.
happy, yes.
I legit missed her last episode.
Me too.
So I was like, Bree, don't ever go away. You're awesome.
She's like the glue that we all need.
Yeah.
As a family.
She's kind of like the heart. But we find out that Martin was cheating on her. Sad.
No.
Yeah, she said that in such a weird way,
Yeah,
though,
we were
because
talking
she
about
said Martin has another girlfriend. But I feel like if she was being cheated on, she would use the words like, Martin's been cheating on me, not like Martin has another girlfriend. That sounded more...
It sounds like more that Martin has already moved on.
Yeah. Yes.
And she hasn't.
Right. I kind of felt like that too. I was like, wait, were they already broken up? And now he's the first one to rebound, which is always challenging and always upsetting. But yeah, I felt bad for her. But I did, how that interaction kind of happened between her and Abby, I
loved
did
that.
love that though.
The
will
two
say.
different stories, but still,
still,
coincided together. I thought that was very smart. Really
agree.
well acting and just the writing, how both of those can relate in a very sisterly moment.
Yes.
Yeah, rather than just like blatantly bringing
Blurting
it
it
up
out.
in a conversation. Yeah, it played out very nice and natural.
Yeah. What do you think about Bree and Trace? Pretty much like getting the validation from Trace and reassurance that Trace and Lee are really a thing, quote unquote.
Good job, Bree.
Good job,
Bree.
right?
Great way to
Sisterhood.
gather intel.
Sisterhood. Yeah, I mean, you got to do that.
Yeah, and I love the relationship. I love Trace and Bree together because it really shows like when you have that serious boyfriend who's close with your family, and he does seem like close to Bree as well. Like it was a really like organic interaction, just was easy for them to talk to each other. I thought that was cute. Like she's like awkward but in a quirky way, not because she's uncomfortable. It's Trace, and I loved that moment. And he built her a I don't know what it is.
Was it?
Birdhouse type thing. That looks amazing, obviously.
It's like a cabinet. I thought it was a birdhouse, but it like opened like a cabinet, but it
big.
stuck into the ground. Be a really weird mailbox.
But they worked together, and I loved it.
Some woodwork that apparently finished in a day, so good on Trace. He's really fast in that
handy.
aspect. He is very handy. But I like them. And it was funny because the people who were live tweeting last night were starting to ship Trace and Bree together instead of Trace and Abby.
I definitely don't want
No,
that to
I
happen.
did not see that. You want that?
No, I'm not saying that I want it, but like I could see something going on.
No, I saw it as just like their relationship.
Very platonic.
Yeah,
Very platonic.
I think it's
Platonic,
good.
like they used to be super
Friends.
close because he used to be
Good friends.
Yeah.
Abby's like long-term boyfriend who's over like always at the house. Like that's how I took it as. It's just like two people that used to be in each other's lives a lot more because he was dating her sister, and then they're like reunion type of deal because it didn't seem romantic. It just seemed like a very friendly.
And I would not like that
attraction.
because we are very team Trace and Abby.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah, we are. We are.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to see your reaction too, because a lot of people were going crazy over those two.
Oh no. I did not feel that way at all.
Oh, can I just say one thing that happened that really, really bugged me?
Sure.
That one line, we'll get to Jess. It's a moment with Jess, but it's not about Jess. When Jess says to the mom that she can stay with her at the bed and breakfast, but said that no one else is staying there, which implies Lee is no longer staying there. And even though we didn't see her this episode, she could still be her. So is she staying with Trace? ? Exclamation point.
Let's just really hope not.
I
hope
really hope
she's
not.
scurried out of town.
I think Lee went back to Nashville.
You think
Maybe
so?
For now. But it's funny that Lee was only in like 2 episodes so far. But she has such a presence that she was still in this episode in a way. Like, we
Right.
got that music video from Abby.
Oh, Abby.
Watching those two, probably getting sidetracked.
The
Do you
jealousy
think there's
taking
real
over.
jealousy going on?
Oh yeah.
I definitely think there is. I think too, when people are like creative together and, music duets, I feel like there's just, a lot of unspoken passion there, even if nothing's going on. So I feel like Abby recognizes that, and that's just a level to the jealousy.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's like working with your office wife or husband. Like that's a connection that you can't really understand and relate to because that's between those two.
Right.
And you just can't have it. There's a disconnect there.
Yeah.
I think that's where the jealousy.
And they're writing like
in there.
love songs.
I
So
know.
that has those emotions have to be coming from somewhere. So I think she's definitely, kind of starting to realize she needs to step up with Trace.
Yeah, well, hopefully she will. I still think, I'm going to say it though, I think Lee's still in town. They didn't make her like leave in a clear way, and I think that one little hint of just how they left off even last episode, she's like, I'll stay, I'll be here for you. I don't know if she went back to Nashville yet. Yeah,
Every
she's
time
too
you
much.
talk about Lee, you're like,
Because
crazy.
that's what she does. She's like too much. She's like, do you want me to stay? Like, what do you want me to do? I'll stay here. I'll be here for you. Can I kiss you now? No, I'm gonna kiss you anyways. Like, that's Lee.
Although we haven't really seen that. I mean, we saw one kiss between Lee and Trace, but
And it was not wanted.
yeah, so
Trace.
so was not.
She knew it was not wanted. All he was like, okay, no, and she's like, yes, I'll stay.
And here's Porcupine.
I'll give it to Lee. She has a great singing voice.
yeah, that's
yeah.
about it.
We knew that was
you
going to
really
happen.
don't like Lee. Okay.
I don't like her.
People in the live chat are saying a neighborhood library. Thanks, Joyce. That what Trace was building for
What?
Bree.
Oh.
A neighborhood library.
Oh.
Oh.
You know what those are?
Yeah, when you have
Yeah,
like
you,
the
like,
thing
read
with all the
the books.
books
Yeah,
in it, and then
People
the
can
honest.
take it
Oh,
whenever they
very
please.
good. I didn't.
I
Clearly,
wouldn't have thought of
clearly, I did not have a neighborhood
Yeah.
library growing up
She's a
because I did not
writer.
recognize it.
She's an
Yeah.
author. She loves reading books.
that. True.
I can see
Okay,
that.
that's
She can put her
cute.
own books in there and then see what people think.
That must be a detail from the
There you
books
go.
again.
That
Bum,
might
bum,
be.
bum.
Yeah. We gotta have to read the books.
I know.
Shoot. I love
Buckle
reading, so
down.
why not? Yes, but you did quickly bring up, Renee, that quick moment between Jess and Megan on the peak shore there, contemplating about life. But there's still a lot of disconnect between those two. A lot
Yeah.
of tension. Do we eventually think this is going to get resolved in this season, or is still
I
gonna...
think this
No.
relationship might take a while. I mean, Jess definitely harbors the most hostility, which we've talked about. It's clear. And I just, every time Megan kind of tries to attempt to bring closure to that or like try to repair, Jess is still very standoffish about it. So I don't think we're going to see this resolve at the end of the season. I think it'll be better, but I don't think that they're going to be like Megan and Abby anytime soon.
I definitely agree on the fact. I do not think this will be resolved by the end of this season. I also don't even know if there will be progress in a way that we can like actually see progress. I think it's going to be a lot of ups and downs. I don't think they have a great relationship yet. It's building because the mom's still in town. Jess is still in town. They're going to stay together, but I don't think it's going to be resolved.
The whole family's back in town again.
I know. It's great.
Reunion.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
A slight awkward reunion too, because even when Connor comes back, he kind of ignores Megan too. What do you think about that?
He gives her the
moment?
one-arm hug. It's never,
I didn't realize that.
One-arm
you gotta
hug.
pay attention. And like, but Jess, he was like, oh my gosh, and then Megan, he was like, like the one-arm pat. Ooh, never good.
Okay.
That's always colder.
But even like talking on the couch there, that he didn't really include Megan into the conversation.
That was so
She
sad.
felt so left out. That was really sad.
That was
Megan.
such a bummer. She should have gone inside at that point.
She had a hard episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's like,
Jeez, everyone's beating down on her.
I just feel for Megan now because
Yeah.
like, I'm rooting for her because you could pick her as the bad one, being the one who left and whatnot. But all these episodes, like, you just feel for her because everyone, she left earlier, but she's there now. And no one's really making the effort, or they're slowly making the effort to maybe reconnect with her.
Well, here's the thing. I would completely understand how there being, if there wasn't more to the story, if she really did just be like, well, I'm going to go do my own thing and bye. And then that, I would be like, okay, I'd be pissed too. That would take me a long time to get over if someone left my life for such a long period of time, like essential years, to have a mom around and my mom to be MIA and then come back and be like, whoa, like, can we pick up where we left off?
Right.
But if there's more to the story, she really needs to, which I assume there is, she really needs to sit down with these kids and tell them, maybe one at a time, but like and especially the audience, we want to know what happened.
I think also I'm like slightly biased because Barbara was so great in person. So I'm like,
Barbara, you're awesome.
Megan.
I know, right? Like, we love her. Like, Barbara's the sweetest.
I know. So I feel like now I'm like super rooting for Megan.
Yeah, like, I really just feel for Megan now because she's trying.
This was a hard episode.
She's trying, and I see the effort from Megan. I'm not really seeing the effort from the children.
No.
Yeah,
Which is
no.
really unfortunate. And they're adults. And they're the ones having the problems and whatnot.
Even
but they
her
gotta make the
interactions
effort.
with Kevin were like pretty tense. Like, I know he's in a lot of pain, but remember she like tried to kiss him. He was like, Mom. And I was like,
Was it?
then he was
I think
like,
it
Georgia.
hurt.
Yeah.
I know,
think
but
he's-
Oh my God, him in Georgia. Like, I cannot with every time. It's like, where's Georgia? Georgia.
sorry,
Shut up,
we're
Kevin.
getting back on the Georgia train.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
that was
very,
my fault.
it's a
That was
heated
my fault.
topic.
That was
We
my fault.
apologize.
Unfortunately, Georgia will be around for a little bit longer.
I know.
But how about let's talk about another relationship that was actually seemingly more positive. Trace and his mother.
Yes.
sweet.
Yeah.
Renee, you were like, meh.
But then we also
Was
saw the negativity between him and his father, which we've
His
called.
father, yeah.
Yeah.
Tension, lots of tension. Trace did not get his loan.
And then I don't like that the mom didn't tell him that the dad was coming to dinner. That was a weird
I think she's
moment.
trying to bring the two men in her life together in any way she can, which I understand. But yeah, I don't know. We knew that there was tension between him and his dad, and it wasn't great. But seeing it on screen, man, you can feel it.
I know.
Yeah, definitely cut it with a knife. I think the mother is in that unfortunate position of being stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
has to be the mediator between those two. She has to be the one to keep things civil. Because I feel if those two were together alone for a long period of time, it could get hostile,
I agree.
really bad. But it's just unfortunate. I hope Trace gets his studio.
Yes.
Me
One way or
too.
another.
But we also learn at the end of the episode that it was Mick who's fighting
I
for this
know.
property.
What is he going to do?
So
See,
Mick
but
versus
I have high hopes
Trace.
that he.
Got it
I
for
guess
sure.
I'll save it for predictions, but I hope that he will just. I hope he'll. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I hope that maybe he'll like give it to Trace or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Couldn't you see Mick doing that?
I could.
Oh, let's go in on it together.
Yeah, he's like,
I mean, Mick's
wanna...
a smart businessman.
Yeah, but
If
what is he
can-
doing? What does he have planned
That's what I'm
with
saying.
it?
Maybe he could be like, well, I don't have any ideas for it. Let's just go in on it together.
Yeah. Well, we know Mick can like renovate that property and make it, flip the whole place and make it better, and property value just goes even higher. But I think learning from the first episode that Mick allowed Trace to get the property of the shack where Trace
Right.
lives now, I think we can see that again with Mick being like, yeah, Trace, you can have this location too.
Yeah, I think Trace is going to go up to Mick next. Well, I'll save that for predictions.
I just keep saying. I can't hold it in.
Okay. But overall, a really great episode. A
Yeah.
lot of emotional moments in this
Oh, yeah.
episode. I felt for just about everybody. Some
Same.
people made me mad, and some people made me, how sweet.
Not to name names, Georgia.
But not all about Georgia. But really, really quick news and gossip.
Ooh.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, Chesapeake Shores is actually the most watched series in the Hallmark Network's history.
Wow.
Among the demographics of women from 25 through 54.
Oh, that's pretty large.
That's big.
Jeez. I
Yeah.
love it. Watch it with your whole family.
But I can see that. We kind of talked
Yeah.
about that last
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. Last week's episode, which was episode 5, on us talking about episode 6 today. So last week's episode 5 averaged 2.6 in viewers of the overall season, and that episode had 2.8 million viewers.
Wow.
Those are big numbers for Hallmark.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
it's a great show. I believe it.
Yeah, I get it. I definitely understand it, and I think you can so many people can watch this show and relate to it. And I love that it is such a family show. Like, this could totally be a family Sunday night show. I'd watch it with my family if we weren't on opposite coasts.
Right, same here. I just find this very interesting because I do another Hallmark show, When Calls the Heart, and that was the show that this show beat out in numbers. And When Calls the Heart actually averages 2.3 million. And their highest rated number and highest watched episode was only 2.6.
Ooh.
Last week's
wow.
episode of this show was 2.8. So
That's awesome.
Chesapeake broke records.
Yes.
Good job, Chesapeake.
And When Calls the Heart, great show, love it. The fans are also amazing too. But that show got a renewal for a season with those numbers. This show can easily get
So gonna
Yeah.
get season 2, 100%.
Calling it now. Calling
Yeah,
it now.
that's my prediction.
And we have a lot more to learn.
Oh, yeah.
and
We
know.
do.
So you can't just cut it off after one season.
No way.
There's too many questions that have yet to be answered.
Yes.
And with numbers with 2.8 million watching, and the numbers only going up every single week, which is great for this show, I think we'll get a season 2.
Yay.
Agreed.
Cool.
Agreed.
All right, so let's get to predictions then.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right. So we were kind of like almost spilling
I
our
know.
predictions.
I know.
But Renee, start with you.
Okay, I have a few predictions. So one, I think next episode Trace is going to go up to Mick and have a conversation about the property, and I think they're either going to collab or maybe he will give it to Trace, but I think Trace will be able to have his dream and get that performance placed for everyone to sing. And then I also think that Lee is staying with Trace, and we'll figure that out next episode and be like, ooh, we'll have that moment. And lastly, I really don't trust Georgia, and I think the way, well, like, duh, like this
No,
whole,
I'm just kidding.
Like,
Could not
Renee,
tell.
you. But I think the reason they're setting it up the way they are, and I could be totally wrong, but I wouldn't put it past Hallmark either. It's like they're having her be such a control freak, and she's controlling like all of his medicine, all of his health, everything, and she's like weird and kind of off. I think she's gonna be like a little crazy in
my
some way.
gosh.
I think she's gonna manipulate the situation
she's
and
gonna
become a little
poison
evil. Possibly.
Oh.
She could have that. What is that mental illness where you want to keep people sick? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like not. Oh,
What is it called?
It's not hot.
It's something upon others, because there's one where you can do it to
Oh
yourself.
my gosh, I
but-
should know this.
Yeah, I was in abnormal psychology. I can't remember the name of it.
can't
But anyways,
name
I think
it.
she might.
Self-fulfilling.
My dad would be, if he's watching this, he's so
He's
mad
gonna
that
be
I cannot
commenting
remember
like
right
it's
now.
this. I'm gonna look it up
I
in my
know.
book later.
He's a
Yeah.
psychiatrist, so he knows. But I cannot think of it.
Oh my God, it's gonna
It'll
bug
come.
me.
It'll
Yeah,
come.
I'll look it up while you do your
Yeah,
prediction.
look it up.
There we go.
Madison, how are you?
I agree with the Trace and Mick collaboration. I think that we're going to see a really big moment between Trace and Abby. Finally, I think they're going to connect on a deeper emotional level because we're finally going to find out what Trace has been hiding, which I'm sure their prediction is going to come true that they predicted really early
We got it.
on.
We
Totally
got
called
it.
it. Totally.
So I'm just excited to see the emotional reconnection that they have after disclosing that.
I'm really excited for that. Yes, because I tweeted out, I was like, is this drunk driving incident true? And Jesse Metcalf actually liked my tweet. So, yes.
So they're going to date.
So I was like, you know what, I'm 95% sure that it was probably a drunk driving incident. And also Joyce Keeler in the live chat says that, she agrees that Mick wants to help Trace with the loan/investment for the studio. So I think, yes, Trace will get his studio. For Nell, we're going to find out
About
who Dylan is, and I think he'll come back in the finale.
It's fictitious disorder. Or I think it's fictitious
Munchausen's.
disorder.
Munchausen's, that's
upon-
what it's called.
It's Munchausen's
disease.
syndrome.
Yep.
By proxy.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
Munchausen.
previously called. Now it's called fictitious disorder because they're always changing names.
Stupid
upon
DSM.
others. I think she could have something like that, which would be really interesting to watch. I love that kind of stuff.
I don't think Georgia will stick around long because I think Kevin will realize that she's a little bit, and I'm not really crazy, but just like too controlling, and
Yeah,
it doesn't
too
seem
much.
like he has that personality to be dominated by someone so domineering as she is.
But like he fell in love with her and knew her long enough to get engaged.
Maybe we're gonna see a softer side of Georgia,
Oh, pooh.
and we're gonna
No.
we're gonna end up liking her.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm just saying. It's predictions. You know,
I-
never know. Never know.
And I think Wes or Gabrielle is involved with this so-called investigation. DOJ investigation Abby is under right now.
Gabrielle, we're coming for you.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching, listening, tuning in. In the meantime, where can everyone keep following you?
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And make sure you check out my blog launching tomorrow, catslipstickla.com.
Yay! And I'm Maddison Hill. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MaddisonHill93 with 2 Ds.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. I just realized what my Jess prediction was. Sorry, guys. My mind's all over the place. I feel like she might have had a physical trauma, like she might have almost had a drowning incident or whatnot. 'Cause she was looking out into the ocean, and she might
like
have
with the kids.
almost had a near drowning incident. Physical
We will know.
trauma. And there's my prediction. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Keep rating, keep watching, and keep listening to us. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.